The tension in the CNN studio was electric as Congresswoman. Jasmine Crockett stepped onto the debate stage opposite conservative media titan Mark Levin. Levin had just finished a fiery monologue calling Crockett a radical. The audience fell silent as Crockett adjusted her microphone. What happened next sent shockwaves through the political world. Instead of her prepared statement, Crockett smiled slightly and asked Levin a single, precisely targeted question. The normally quick-witted commentator froze, his mouth opening and closing without a sound. For the first time in his career, Mark Levin was completely speechless on live television. This was the moment Jasmine Crockett changed the entire conversation with just 11 carefully chosen words. Mark Levin was a veteran conservative commentator, confident he could easily debate the freshman Congresswoman. Meanwhile, Congresswoman Crockett, a former public defender and civil rights attorney, had intimate knowledge of voting rights. She wasn't preparing to play defense. She was hunting for a vulnerability. She found it in a transcript from Levin's own show from 3 years earlier. The debate began. Levin delivered familiar arguments about states' rights with practiced confidence. Crockett countered with specific stories of real Americans she had represented who were denied their right to vote by administrative barriers. The energy shifted. As the debate continued, a pattern emerged. Levin made sweeping statements, while Crockett countered with specific facts and legal precedents. The climax came during a discussion on mail-in voting. Levin made a definitive claim. No serious constitutional scholar believes the federal government should override state legislatures on election procedures. Crockett saw her opening. She asked to pose a direct question. Mr. Levin, 3 years ago on your program, you passionately argued that federal courts should have intervened to override Pennsylvania State Supreme Court when it interpreted state law to allow mail-in ballots. You said, when a state court changes election law, federal courts have not only the right but the duty to step in. So my question is simple. If you believe federal courts should override state courts, interpreting their own laws, why do you oppose federal legislation protecting voting rights from state restrictions? Aren't you arguing that federal power should override states, but only when it benefits your preferred outcome? The question hung in the air. Levin opened his mouth to respond, but for several seconds no words came out. He finally managed, "That's completely different," but his explanation became convoluted. He tried to deflect, calling it a gotcha game, but the damage was done. The evasion was obvious to everyone.